Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodhanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Stottra Shata Shri Śrīmad Abhaya Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Hare Krishna Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vikasa Swami Niti Namne Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya I'm reading from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam directly without reading from preaching is the essence, because I have a few things to say and I'm going to try to complete it within the given time frame. So we are reading from Canto 1, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Text 5 of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Etananavataranam Nidhanam bhijamavyayam Yasyam shamsena srijyante Devatiryannaradayah 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 Etananavataranam Nidhanam bhijamavyayam Yasyam shamsena srijyante Devatiryannaradayah. So we've read this. We read the word-to-word meaning previously in last two classes. So I'm just going to read the translation and then go to the purport, the part of the purport from where I'm supposed to speak. So translation, purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Translation. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. We are reading from the paragraph where it says the next incarnations are the Manus. And I will go till the end of the purport from there. So the next incarnations are the Manus. Within 1 day's duration of the life of Brahma, which is calculated by our solar year as 4.3 million into 1,000 years, there are 14 Manus. Therefore, there are 420 Manus in 1 month of Brahma and 5,040 Manus in 1 year of Brahma. Brahma lives for 100 years of his age, and therefore there are 5,040 into 100 or 504,000 Manus in the duration of Brahma's life. There are innumerable universes with one Brahma in each of them, and all of them are created and annihilated during the breathing time of the Purusha. Therefore, one can simply imagine how many millions of Manus there are during one breath of the Purusha. The Manus who are prominent within this universe are as follows: Yajna as Swayambhuva Manu, Vibhu as Swarochisha Manu, Satyasena as Uttama Manu, Hari as Tamasa Manu, Vaikunta as Raivata Manu, Ajita as Chakshusha Manu, Vamana as Vaivaswata Manu. The present age is under the Vaivaswata Manu. Sarvabhauma as Savarani Manu, Rishabha as Daksha Savarani Manu, Vishwaksena as Brahma Savarani Manu, Dharmasetu as Dharma Savarani Manu, Sudama as Rudra Savarani Manu, Yogeshwara as Deva Savarani Manu, and Brihad Bhanu as Indra Savarani Manu. These are the names of one set of 14 Manus covering 4.3 billion solar years as described above. Then there are the Yuga avatars, or incarnations of the millennia. The Yugas are known as Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. The incarnations of each Yuga are of different color. The colors are white, red, black, and yellow. In the Dwapara Yuga, Lord Krishna in black color appeared, and in the Kali Yuga, Lord Chaitanya in yellow color appeared. So all the incarnations of the Lord are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. There is no scope for an impostor to become an incarnation, for an incarnation must be mentioned in the Shastras. An incarnation does not declare himself to be an incarnation of the Lord, but great sages agree by the symptoms mentioned in the revealed scriptures. The features of the incarnation and the particular type of mission which he has to execute are mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Apart from the direct incarnations, there are innumerable empowered incarnations. They are also mentioned in the revealed scriptures. Such incarnations are directly as well as indirectly empowered. When they are directly empowered, they are called incarnations, but when they are indirectly empowered, they are called vibhutis. Directly empowered incarnations are the Kumaras, Narada, Prithu, Shesha, Ananta, etc. As far as vibhutis are concerned, they are very explicitly described in the Bhagavad Gita in the Vibhuti Yoga chapter. And for all these different types of incarnations, the fountainhead is Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutav Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Eta Nanavataranam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam Yasyam Shamshena Shrijyante Devatiryan Naradayaha. This form, the second manifestation of the Purusha, is the source and indestructible seed of multifarious incarnations within the universe. From the particles and portions of this form, different living entities like demigods, men, and others are created. So, in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states the very famous verse, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu sakale nehamahata yoga nashta parantapa. Krishna explains to Arjuna that this supreme science was received through this chain of disciplic succession, and saintly kings understood it in this way. But in course of time, the succession was broken. Therefore, the science as it appears to be, therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. So then Krishna tells Arjuna that, so before that he states before that, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan ahamam yayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshva kave bravid. So he says, Arjuna, the science I'm going to tell you, I already told Vivaswan. I told the sun god. So then doubt arises in Arjuna's mind, and he asks Krishna, Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha katam etad vijaniyam tvamado proktavanidim. So Arjuna asks Krishna, he says, the sun god Vivaswan, he is senior by birth to you. So how am I to understand in the beginning that you instructed this science to him? So Arjuna and Krishna are practically of the same age. So Arjuna's question is a very valid question, because Krishna is telling, I spoke this to the sun god millions of years ago. So Arjuna is like, how did you speak it? I've seen you from a child. I know you're my nephew. My cousin. And so how did you speak this to the sun god? So Krishna says, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam veta parantapa. That he says, many births both you and I have passed, I can remember all of them, but you cannot, O subduer of the enemy. So Krishna here is distinguishing between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and an ordinary jiva. That as an ordinary jiva, we cannot remember our past lives. But Krishna says, I can remember everything, but you can't. And he uses the word parantapa. Parantapa refers to subduer of the enemy. The reason he uses that word in this verse is because Krishna is saying, Arjuna, you might be very great, but still you're not as great as I am. Because you are the subduer of the enemies. You are the greatest warrior on the planet. But still, you cannot remember all your previous births because you're a jiva. And I can. Both of us have passed these births, but I can remember, but you cannot. So Krishna also says that he has a birth. That's what he's saying. He's saying, Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tavacha Arjuna. So he says, Bahuni me vyatitani. And he uses the word janmani. Tava and cha refers to you and I, Arjuna. So he says, but then, just so that people, so the argument, oh Krishna, you're a wonderful yogi, because there are yogis. So you're a fantastic yogi, mystic power, you remember all your previous lives. But Krishna immediately in the next verse, he says, it's very interesting how he takes this. He says, Ajopi san avyayatma bhutanam ishwaropi san prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavam yatma maya. Although I am unborn, Krishna just said in the previous verse that he took birth. But now he says I am unborn. Ajo, api. He says ajo, api, but although. Avyayatma means that Prabhupada translates in the word to word, he says without deterioration. So although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and bhutanam ishwaropi san, I am Ishwara. I am the Ishwara, I am the controller of all living entities. Still, prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavam yatma maya. I appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So this is where Krishna explains. These verses clearly distinguish between the material body of a jiva and the spiritual body of Krishna. That Krishna has a spiritual body which is not born. It's not born like how we are born. So Krishna explains that. And he says that my body does not deteriorate. What does deterioration mean? It's growing old. So you will not find a form of the personality of Godhead that grows old. You will not find a picture of Rama that grows old. You will not find a picture of Krishna that grows old. You will not find a picture of Balaram. You will not hear this description. They didn't become old, wrinkles, diseased. We can see in the Bhagavatam, there's a very nice description of how Dhritarashtra looks in his old age. In the first canto, he's coughing, and Dhritarashtra is already blind. And in fact, there's also, I forgot this king's name, but in the Mahabharata, there was another king that was described. He was so old, he was a wonderful warrior, but he was so old that the wrinkles on his forehead was covering his eyes. So how did Arjuna defeat him? He had a band on his forehead that lifted the wrinkles. So all Arjuna did was he shot an arrow and ripped that band off, and then it covered his eyes. But so this is a description of old age. Krishna is not like this. So therefore, Prabhupada says here in the purport that it's not that any rascal can declare himself as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There are characteristics. My transcendental body never deteriorates, but still I appear. And then Krishna explains, how does he appear? And then again he says, why does he appear? He says, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion at that time, I descend myself. So Krishna explains over here that he descends when there is a rise of irreligion and there is a decline in religious practice. And Prabhupada writes in the purport of here, the word Srijami is significant. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation, because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of the Lord's form or body, since all forms are eternally existent. So this science is explained over here, that Krishna, Srijami means that he appears. Although the word Srijati in Sanskrit can also mean create. Here the word specifically, because just in the previous verse Krishna explained, he is not created. So when the Mayavadis state that Krishna took a material form, it is so much full of ignorance, it is so wrong and absolutely not based on the Bhagavad Gita. According to the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has a transcendental form. It's very clear. And again in the next verse, he says, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chu duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I to deliver the pious, annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So, there are many forms of Krishna that appear like this. Regarding the previous verse, Krishna uses the word Bharata for Arjuna. He says the word descendant of Bharata. It's very interesting when you go through the Bhagavad Gita, every time Krishna calls Arjuna with a particular name, there's a reason behind why he uses that name. So here he's using Bharata because Bharata was probably the most famous king in India. So famous that the whole country was named after him, and he is known for dharma. And Arjuna, being his descendant, is the representative of dharma at that age, at that time and age. And so Krishna calls him, descendant of Bharata. And Krishna also uses that word to refer to Arjuna that, hey, I'm going to use you to establish dharma in this battlefield of Kurukshetra. I'm using you. Remember that. This is why I have appeared. I have appeared to establish religion and annihilate the miscreants. So and you, O descendant of Bharata, are the person I have chosen, is the person I have chosen to do this. So the Kurukshetra war is meant for that purpose. Okay, so then there are many, Prabhupada explains in the purports how there are so many incarnations of Krishna. And now, what is the point? Like Prabhupada is explaining so much of these very technical details in this purport. He says that there are Manu avatars, and he gives the name of the Manus. He explains about the Yuga avatars. Why should we learn this? Why should we know all this? Because Krishna states that in the Bhagavad Gita also. He states it right in the next verse. He says, Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deyam punarjanma naiti mameti sorjuna. That when we learn and understand about these pastimes, then one who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. And that is the purpose of understanding these. That when we understand, now, okay, there are two ways in which this verse can be understood. One is that we get absorbed in Krishna's amazing pastimes and his glories and his avatars, and in that way we understand how, Krishna, and we absorb ourselves in his transcendental pastimes, and we remember him at the time of death. We develop a transcendental relationship with him and go back to Godhead. The other side of understanding his incarnations is that we don't get bewildered by rascals who claim themselves to be incarnations. That Krishna and any of Krishna's incarnations come and establish dharma. They provide transcendental knowledge, they give transcendental knowledge, and they wipe out ignorance. So this is one of the defining features of an incarnation, is that they give transcendental knowledge. If a so-called incarnation is not giving transcendental knowledge, he is not an incarnation. Incarnations don't just appear for no purpose. Each and every incarnation at some point of time would have given transcendental instruction. So that is why also the Guru is said as Sakshad Hari, because the Guru gives instruction. The Guru gives transcendental knowledge. Therefore, he is infused with Bhakti Shakti of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he is infused with the capability, with the ability to give it to others, because he is a pure devotee. So this is why even the Guru is considered an incarnation. And why is this important to understand? Because Guru means that one should receive transcendental knowledge. One does not accept a Guru for the sake of some ritual. One does not accept Guru for, there's practically today in India, those people who masquerade themselves as gurus, they don't give any instruction or knowledge. One of my godbrothers in Gujarat is from a Vallabh Sampradaya. They are a bona fide Vaishnav Sampradaya. But the principle of passing down transcendental knowledge is not so much present today. All of them, because they're Vaishnavs, they have their family lineage and they accept a guru. So their family has a guru, so he also went and took initiation from that guru. So then, because he took initiation, he later went and asked him some questions, and he became angry. That Acharya became angry. He said, "Why are you asking me questions? You just do. There's Bal Gopal, just worship him in your house." But the problem if transcendental knowledge is not given is then people cannot distinguish between what is an incarnation, what is not an incarnation, and then they start worshipping. Like this recently, this video surfaced up about on Facebook about this some so-called Bhagavan Nityananda. He's such a rascal, He says, "I am the fulfillment of all the incarnations. I am the fulfillment of this. I am this." Everyone declares us a new species. All his disciples are supposed to be new species, and they exhibit 400 varieties of powers. Such nonsense. He's so ugly, and he claims himself to be the fulfillment of all the incarnations. Apparently, he doesn't even say he is the incarnation. This is a fulfillment of, as if, And what is he doing? What is the rascal doing? He can't even speak without a mic. And he looks so ugly, my God. And the amazing part about him being a guru, or it's again, see, he claims himself as guru, Bhagavan, everything. This is the beauty about this is the beauty of Mayavad, is that there's no clear distinction between guru and God. And it's like they say Ramakrishna, he's God, he's guru, he's everything. There's no understanding. Everything is one. And there's no clear understanding. Therefore, it's stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that when the Mayavadis, sannyasis, and the Lysichas, they greet each other as Narayana, Narayana. It means actually that you are Narayana, and I'm also Narayana. You're Narayana, I'm Narayana. And there's actually a Sanskrit verse which says, Danda matrena Narayana bhavanti. Just by taking danda one becomes Narayana. How can taking danda one becomes Narayana? Just by taking sannyas, how can one become Narayana? Because the understanding of who Narayana is not clear. Therefore Krishna is speaking all this. He says, Ajopisan avyayatma, that my body does not deteriorate. Baba, your rascal body, your body is made of mucus, bile, stool, all this kind of nonsense things, and you are calling yourself Narayana? So they say this is Leela. So Prabhupada used to say, what is this Leela? God becomes dog and then dog becomes God. Is this Leela? Prabhupada said, this is your Leela. Okay. So this is why we have to understand these principles of who is God. Otherwise, what happens? Unfortunately, even those who come in a Vaishnava Sampradaya, they, because of lack of transcendental knowledge, they think, Balaji is one, this Bhagavan Nityananda is one, and Ramakrishna is one, and then Sai Baba is one, and it's such a mess. Because they don't understand. They didn't read Bhagavad Gita. How are you a Vaishnava? You didn't read this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. But then they still, yes, Bhagavad Gita, very nice, very nice. Very nice, very nice, but you are not nice, So then, and then by understanding this, but you go back to Godhead, and Krishna again states, don't worry, he gives assurance also in the next verse. He says, Vitaraga bhaya krodha manmaya mam upashata bahavo jnana tapasa putamad bhavam adhitaha. Being freed from attachment, fear, anger, and fully absorbed in me, taking refuge in me. Many persons in the past have become purified by knowledge of me, and thus they all attain transcendental love for me. So Krishna gives assurance. He says, don't worry, you're not the first person. It might look, all these incarnations and all this is, am I able to understand this knowledge is very hard. No, it's not hard. Because we have to become free from attachment. Now you won't like this. We will not like this knowledge if we are attached. Why are people worshipping a person like this Nityananda? Because he says, by sex you can realize God. Very nice. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. And he himself does that. So there's this. Anyway, Hare Krishna. So he was caught but even in spite of being exposed as an imposter, still people follow him. Why? Because he tells them what they like to hear. So Krishna mentions here, you have to become free from attachment. And fear and anger. Fear of what? Fear that maybe Krishna might not protect him. Sometime when I first was trying to get a picture of Krishna in my house, there's a picture of Radha and Krishna as a flute. And somehow in Tamil Nadu, they have this misconception that if you have a picture of Krishna who blows the flute, then he'll blow all your material opulence away. So my mother was like, you're bringing this picture, oh my gosh, I don't know, whether you're supposed. And I was like, this form is so beautiful, I want to see this picture every day. I want to see the painting every day. And it's so beautiful, Krishna holding the flute. It's such a beautiful form. But my mother didn't want it. I said, Krishna will blow. I said, what kind of a God, Krishna won't do harm to us. If at all, he takes something away, it might be something good for us. So then, fortunately, I went to a Sri Vaishnava and asked him, and he said, this is nonsense, it's bogus, And then I kept a picture of Krishna. I guess maybe my mother still feels like that because I joined full time. So, but then, and anger. So we have to become freed like this. And similarly, she wouldn't even till today. She never let me allowed to keep a picture of Ugra Narasimha that's in Mayapur. She never let me. She says, it looks so ferocious. My gosh, It's ferocious to the demons. It's not ferocious for devotees. For Prahlad, he liked that form of Krishna. So, when we become freed, then, and take refuge in Krishna, we will attain him. We will become purified by knowledge. We will become purified. We will get rid of all these misconceptions, thinking that all that money will give us happiness, and this house will give us happiness, this will give me happiness, that will give me happiness. No, Krishna will give us happiness. Only Krishna can give us happiness. Only chanting Hare Krishna can give us happiness. So, and then Krishna in the next verse in text 11 says, Ye yatamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushyam partha sarvashaha. As all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pritha. So, now, this is understood to be Krishna's reciprocation for people in different stages of spiritual advancement. However, in the first chapter, Prabhupada explains how this verse on a higher platform actually refers to the different relationships that different devotees can have with different incarnations and different forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Prabhupada explains that everyone is satisfied according to one's desire to have him. In the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees in a transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. One devotee may want Krishna as Supreme Master, another as his personal friend, another as his son, and another as his lover. Krishna rewards all devotees equally according to their different intensities of love for him. So in this verse, a hint is given as to the reason why Krishna appears in different forms, why he takes different incarnations. So, Prabhupada explains in this purport here these different manus and different incarnations. So I thought I'll briefly try to see if I could go into the details of the different incarnations and expansions of Krishna. So, let's see how this works. I'm trying this on the laptop. So there is a chart by Gokul Chandra Prabhu explaining the different incarnations of Krishna. It's actually a part of the Goloka chart. I wish we had a copy in our ashram, but somehow. Yeah. So anyways, I also hope the internet works. So, let's see. I'm picking this up from a video, and let's see. I hope it's okay. It's 480p. All right. So, so here we have Krishna, as our acharyas explained, as Swayam Rupa. Is this visible?
No. Turn the brightness up.
Yeah. Oh,
you can't find a picture online of it?
Nope. Nothing that's high definition. So, how do you turn on this? Alright, this brightness.
Oh, it's at 0.
I did that because Is this better? Better?
Yeah.
Good.
Alright, then go to the contrast. I'll also increase this.
Okay. Wonderful.
Alright, this is as good as it gets. So, so there's Swayam Rupa, which, if you read over here, it says the original form of Krishna is a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. So this is Krishna's form. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu states, Aradhyo Bhagavan Vajesha Tanayas Vrindavanam. That the original form of the Supreme Personality of God is cowherd form as Krishna. Now, the argument is, you people say this, and the Sri Vaishnava state that Narayana is supreme, and this person says, Rama is supreme, and like this. But we have, our acharyas have very clearly, delineated the avatars. This is explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his teachings to Srila Rupa Goswami. He has explained the different incarnations. So, the Swayam Rupa is Krishna's original form as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. And this is Goloka Vrindavan. Now, this is Swayam Rupa. And Swayam Prakash is his own form, but it's for the sake of pastimes. So, in that you have Prabhava Prakash, which means where Krishna, he expands himself into many. Like in the arena of the Rasa Leela, Krishna expanded himself into many forms. Or to the gopis, to the queens in Dwaraka, Krishna had 16,108 queens, so he expanded himself into 16,100 forms. There's no difference between those forms. There's the same mood. So then Krishna, he has something called as Vaibhava Prakash, where his form differently manifested according to different emotional features. So Krishna, so this is the form of Balaram. So Balaram is Krishna himself.
But he's white.
But how is he different?
He's the supreme personality of servitor of God.
Right. So his emotion is slightly different. It's the same personality of Godhead. It's not an amsa, it is not a form of a form, it is not a part of a part. It is the full supreme personality of Godhead. But his emotion is slightly changed. What is it? His emotion is now in the mood of servitorship. That Balaram, by his service, expands everything into everything in the spiritual world for the sake of fulfilling the pastimes of Krishna. Krishna does not do it himself. Balaram does it. His form as Balaram does it. Krishna, he just enjoys. He just enjoys. He just does pastimes. That's all. Krishna does not do anything else. So everything else is Balaram. So Balaram has Vaibhava Prakash. His form differently manifested according to different emotional features. And Gokul Chandra Prabhu was explaining how when Krishna appeared as baby Krishna in front of Devaki and Vasudev, that also is Vaibhava Prakash, although he seemed like Vishnu. Why? Because even though in that form of Vishnu, it was just to tell his parents, I have fulfilled your desire. But it had the same parental feelings. Vishnu does not have parental feelings towards anyone. But he has parental feelings towards Devaki and Vasudev, therefore that is called Vaibhava Prakash. Again, all these technical details, reminding again, why do we learn all this? Because Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam Evam Yoveti Tatvataha Tyaktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mameti So Arjuna. That by learning all this, we will go back to Godhead. So, and then, now all the other expansions of Krishna are all from Balaram. There's one more expansion of Krishna which is found in the pastimes of Dwaraka. One more expansion where Krishna does something extra from his pastimes, not in the pastimes of, not with his queens, not with Balaram or something. He does something special. That's when he's a charioteer of Arjuna. That also is Prabhava Prakash, where he expands himself for the sake of being a charioteer of Arjuna, and he takes the form of Prabhava Prakash in Dwaraka. Now, Balaram, as it is explained now in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, in the glories of Srila Nityananda Balaram, is explained. Avatari Sarva Avatari Krishna Swayam Bhagavan Tanara Ditiya Deha Shri Balaram. That the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations. Lord Balaram is his second body. Then it's further explained. These two are one and the same identity. They differ only in form. Lord Balaram is the first bodily expansion of Krishna, and he assists in Lord Krishna's transcendental pastimes. So, Balaram is the first expansion of Krishna, and he assists Krishna in Krishna's pastimes. And the next verse states that original Krishna appeared in Navadvip as Lord Chaitanya, and Balaram appeared with him as Lord Nityananda. And then the verse explains, the next verse is very famous. Sankarshana Karana Tosha Sai Garbodha Sai Cha Prabodhi Sai Sheshas Chayasyam Shakalasa Nitya Nanda Ke Rama Sharanam Mamastu. May Shri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Shankarshan, Sheshanag and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean and ocean of milk are his plenary portions and portions of his plenary portions. What is the portions and portions of his plenary portions? That's what we will see here. That the first expansion of Balaram is he expands into Tadekatma Rupa, where his form and transcendental emotions are differently manifested. So when Balaram appears, only his emotions are different. Otherwise he is just Krishna. He is Krishna himself. But just his emotions are different. He is still two-handed. He also has his gopis. He also has his queens. He also enjoys. But slightly manifested, he assists in the pastimes of Krishna. But then when Balaram, he further wants to expand Krishna's pastimes and serve him more, then he changes his form. He increases his opulence. So the opulence increases when he moves into Mathura. And Balaram accepts the form of Vilasa. So there is Prabhava Vilasa, which is the first Chaturvyuha expansion. We've read about Chaturvyuha in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this is the first Chaturvyuha expansion happens in the Mathura Dwaraka Leela, where there is Vasudev, Aniruddha, Shankarshana and Pradyumna. So that is also explained here in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, that it is stated that, in the next verse, is stated, Lord Balaram is the original Sankarshana. He assumes 5 other forms to serve Lord Krishna. So when he says the original Sankarshana, that is this Sankarshana over here. The first Sankarshan expansion from Balaram. Actually, in the Acharya's commentaries, it is not like a simultaneous expansion from Balaram. Balaram first expands himself as Shankarshan, and then Vasudev, Aniruddha and Pradyumna appear from him. So, then, what happens? So let's go down and see this video.
The WhatsApp group. The WhatsApp group, Karaki sent a photo so you could see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, but I don't know. Okay, let's see if this is clear enough.
It's pretty clear. You zoom in.
Alright, let's see. Oh, okay, this is fantastic.
Wonderful.
Let's see, I can zoom enough though.
You have to press command plus.
No.
Zoom in like
How do you do this?
that.
Not a bar.
I see it on my phone. I don't know. I can see it.
Let's see if I download.
We got a new laptop.
You can just explain anything, you don't see the detail there.
No, it's important to see the detail.
Oh, you can get it.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Do something practical. Zoom in, Vishnu.
Alright. There we go.
There you go. Now we're talking.
Oh, fantastic. Okay. So, then Shankarsana expands into Vaibhava Vilas. So this Vaibhava Vilas, what is the meaning of Vaibhava?
Opulence.
Vaibhava means opulence. So when Shankarsana wants to, so till here, the pastimes of Krishna are predominated with sweetness. That's the difference between the Vaikuntha and Mathura, Dwaraka and Vrindavan. Vrindavan is only sweetness. There's only sweetness. That doesn't mean Vrindavan is like a poor place. There's a lot of opulence in Vrindavan. Vrindavana Ramyasthana Divya Chintamani Dham Ratana Mandira Manohara. That in Vrindavan there are temples studded with gems and pearls and made of touchstone. So there are these beauties, but the residents of Vrindavan, they don't care for all this. They don't care for the opulence. All they care is for Krishna's personal happiness. So there's a lot of sweetness over there. So the sweetness, when it transforms, even in Dwaraka, the predominating feeling is sweetness, although there is opulence and there is the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when that completely goes into the mode of opulence, then Shankarsana assumes the form of Lord Narayana. So Narayana is an expansion of Shankarsana, who is an expansion of Balaram, who is an expansion of Krishna. So that's why it's stated over here that his plenary portions and portions of his plenary portions. 3 stages. 1, 2, 3. So then here Narayana expands into the second Chaturvyuha, Dvitiya Chaturvyuha. You have Vasudeva, Shankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. And they expand into various Vishnu incarnations. They expand actually into unlimited ones, but they're primarily listed over here as the incarnations that we place on our tilak. This is why we place tilak. So when Krishna, after which avatar was that? I think Putana. After Putana was that, Yashoda was praying to Krishna. So she's praying to these forms of Vishnu. So you have Keshava, Narayana, Madhava, Govinda, Vishnu, Madhusudana, Trivikrama, Vamana, Sridhara, Rishikesha, Padmanabha and Damodara.
So these are all the
Yes.
markings that we keep that
Yeah.
protect us in all these.
They protect us in all these different directions. The protection is not done. Krishna just enjoys. In his form as Damodara, when we say Damodara, he just enjoys. He enjoys another pastime with Yashoda. But the Vishnu form that protects us, that is a form of Narayana, who is an expansion of Lord Balaram. So these are the Vishnu incarnations that worship, and so when the Sri Vaishnavas, when they worship, they say this is Damodara, this is Keshava. And then they say Keshava is another form of Vishnu. Then they look at Madhusudana, another form of Vishnu. And they refer to these forms. So that's how the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya is also bona fide, because they have a very detailed understanding of Vaikuntha. Very detailed understanding of Vaikuntha. And these different Vishnu incarnations are classified according to the different weapons they possess. Which weapon? If it's So the details are found also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Just let me just finish this and ask you. So then there's again each of the Jutiya Chaturviha give rise to five forms of Vishnu, and then there are further expansions like that. Now this is all still the spiritual world. This has nothing to do with the material world. But we'll have questions at the end, because I need to go to the purport where Manvantara avatars, I haven't even come there. So, so then you come down to the material world where Krishna as Balaram and then as Narayana expands into Swamsa. So the understanding that is given by our acharyas is that Shankarshana has a form of Sadashiva in the tip of the spiritual world, which is the source of the form of Shiva found in this material world. So this Sadashiva, who is a form of Sankarshana, expands himself into the material world for the sake of the creation. So within the Brahma Jyoti, this is the Brahma Jyoti, where this form of Sadashiva comes in contact with material nature. So then there's a form of Shankarshana who does not come in contact with the material nature, and that is Karnodaka Sai Vishnu. He's the Purusha avatar, the first Purusha avatar. Karnodaka Sai Vishnu is lying on the causal ocean, and the millions and millions of universes are created from his pores. But he never comes in contact with the material universe. But there is a form of Vishnu called Sadashiva, which comes in contact with the material universe, and that's when you have the milk being transformed as yogurt, and then you have the form of Shiva appearing in the material world. Anyway, then Karnodaka Sai Vishnu is stated as the Paramatma of the totality of the material creation. Then he expands himself as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of the universe, each and every universe. And then he expands himself as Shridodaka Sai Vishnu, the Paramatma accompanying each and every individual soul. So these are all expansions from Mula Sankarshana. Mula Sankarshana is Maha Sankarshana, found in the material, found in the spiritual world, Vishnu, who is an expansion of Balaram. So this Shridodaka Sai Vishnu then expands himself into different incarnations. So you have the Leela avatars, you have Matsya, Kurma, Varaha, Nrsimha, Vamana, and all these avatars. Then you have the Guna avatars, which is Lord Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. And then you have the Yuga avatars, where each avatar appears in Satya, Yuga, Treta, and Dwapara. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali as in the different colors. Shukla, Rakta, Pita, Shama. So, and then you have the Manvantara avatars over here, so each of these incarnations have a particular purpose. What is the purpose of the Leela avatars? Performing pastimes. For
pleasure,
for reclaiming the fallen conditioned souls. What is the purpose of the Guna avatars? Someone else.
Maintain them to creation.
To create, destroy, and maintain.
Maintenance, creation and destruction of the material universe. What is the purpose of the Yuga avatars?
To propagate the age, the proper method of self-realization.
Right. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijamyaham. So he says, Sambhavami yuge yuge. That yuge yuge is here. That he establishes the principles of Yuga avatar, establishes the principles of religion, and annihilates the miscreants. So, what is the purpose of the Manvanta avatars?
To perform the activities of a particular Manvanta, like administrative works and stuff like that. No?
That's a side task. You administer. Okay, how will they perform administration when there's someone to administer? There's no one.
To create population.
Populate the material universe. Yes. Their purpose is to populate, which is why in the Bhagavatam, when who's the son of Swayambhu Manu? What's his name? So disciple of Narada Muni. No, Priyavrata. When Priyavrata wanted to become a sannyasi, Swayambhu Manu said, "Oh my gosh, I have to populate the universe, and I created you to populate the universe, and now this is my purpose of my incarnation." And then Brahma had to come and solve the problem. So that's why the Manvantara avatars, they're meant to populate the universe. So why are they called avatars? Because the Manvantara, all these people are actually jivas. They're also living entities. They're called avatars because they've infused with this particular special potency to populate the universe. They create all the forms of living beings. So now coming to Avesha avatar, then you have the Shakti Avesha avatar, which means where a particular living entity is infused with a particular energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if you zoom further here, it's explained that there are Bhagavat Avesha, where there is direct, where Krishna directly comes in the person, in one of the jivas, and enacts a particular pastime with them. So that's Kapila Dev and Rishabha Dev are given as examples of that. And then you have indirect incarnations, which is Sheshanaga, and it's not very clear. And Anantadeva, I can read what Anantadeva is here. Anantadeva is Bhūdharana Shakti. So what is the purpose? Bhūdharana Shakti means he holds up the universes. Anantadeva holds up the universe. So it's called Shakti Avesh. So it's a particular, it's actually stated that the Sheshanaga, who's found, I don't think, no, you can't see it here. No, this can't. So in this picture, there is a description of how Sheshanaga holds up the material universe. That Sheshanaga is actually a living entity.
What?
Yes.
No.
That Sheshanaga is a living entity who was there. Different Sheshanaga. This Anantadev that is specifically mentioned is a living entity.
So wait a minute.
So questions at the end. So Anantadev, and then Lord Brahma, what is potency does he have?
To create.
Shrishti Shakti. Then you have the four Kumaras, Chatur Kumara. What are they infused with? Jnana Shakti. Then Narada Muni, Bhakti Shakti is infused with Bhakti Shakti. And then you have Maharaj Prithu, which is Poshana Shakti, which means to protect. Maharaj Prithu was the protector. If you read the pastime, he's the protector of the universe. And Parashurama? Yeah. Dushta Damana Shakti. Dushta Damana means to kill, annihilate the miscreants. So Parashuram came, annihilated 21 generations of Kshatriyas. It was unimaginable. And he had so many Kshatriyas that he created lakes of blood from their...
In Kurukshetra.
Yeah, in Kurukshetra. So this is how the Supreme Lord, he performed so many incarnations. Now, what is the beauty of again in this context, we should also understand the speciality of Gaur Nityananda, of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. It's that Krishna actually, he directly appears only to enact his pastimes. And the only other time he appears to associate with the living entities is his form as Gauranga.
That's right.
And he comes in his form as Gauranga because this is the time when Krishna himself, he feels, all these living entities, I need to do something for them. Otherwise there is only Shankarshana, Mahavishnu, Balaram, they are thinking of those things. They are thinking of all that. Krishna, he is too busy with the gopis and the cowherd boys and he doesn't think. But this one time, because, that too not because of himself, because of Srimati Radharani. Because of Srimati Radharani, Krishna thinks how to reclaim all these souls and take them, and he exhibits his highest pastime. And then that's when Balaram comes in his most ecstatic form as Nityananda Prabhu. And he comes and he becomes even more ecstatic to reveal this information. Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu has appeared. He's so ecstatic. That Balaram, who can we imagine? You see, how many incarnations this Balaram takes, Lord Nityananda? He takes so many incarnations, and that Balaram comes in front of every door and asks the people to chant the name of Lord Gauranga. Bhaja Gauranga, Kaha Gauranga, Laha Gaurangere Namare. So that is why this opportunity that we've got by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, that's why we accept Srila Prabhupada as Shakti Avesh. Why is Srila Prabhupada Guru? Why is Srila Prabhupada Shakti Avesh? Because Dharma Samstar Panarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. That he came, he established the principles of religion and he destroyed ignorance. Therefore Srila Prabhupada is an incarnation. And he did a very special thing. No one did this before. No one did it. And Srila Prabhupada, he is the manifestation of that ecstatic emotion of Lord Nityananda Prabhu to give that to everyone else. To give this knowledge, the science of Supreme of Krishna, the process of chanting Hare Krishna and achieving pure love, pure loving devotion. So, Srila Prabhupada's books contain all this amazing knowledge that is not found anywhere else. And if someone is so foolish to not accept Srila Prabhupada's incarnation, Srila Prabhupada asked us to do book distribution. Srila Prabhupada asked us to do Harinam. I don't like it. We look like clowns. What the heck? You don't know. This is why when we learn all this, it's not that it's something that's happening in the spiritual world and I have no relationship with it. No, it has every relationship with us. So that's why Janma Karma Chame Divyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. One who understands me in truth, he understands me in reality, he can attain me. And so I will end the class here. And questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. 3 quick things. Wow. First one is, so in the beginning you were saying that Krishna doesn't, like Prabhupada always says this too, and it's like natural, the Christians paint God as this old guy. The Krishna is always young. And God doesn't get old, he's ever youthful and so on and so forth. But then the question could be stated because he's infinite and he could have a pastime where he gets old if he so wanted to do that. I mean, he's unlimited, right?
Yes.
Anyways, that was just
He's unlimited, but he doesn't choose to do so.
It's not fun being old.
Yeah. It's not.
It says he doesn't choose to do so. That's it. He can do it. He can.
Not me.
He can. And it's not. Yeah. So he can.
Okay, that's the second one. Can you scroll down a little more? So basically, the Sri Vaishnavas are just here. They just don't have this, right?
Yeah.
What scriptures do they get information from?
Vishnu Puran. The Purusha Sukta explains a lot of this. The Vedas explain these different incarnations of Krishna. It's actually very detailed. They have a lot of knowledge about the Vaikuntha planets, and there's a lot. There's a lot. They're very advanced information that's found in the Sri Vaishnava text. And there's the same thing. They accept. Now, one thing I wanted to mention. Just like Krishna has all these expansions, Radharani has her own expansion. Radharani has her own thing. She expands herself into different forms of queens that in Mathura and then Dwaraka. All the queens are actually expansions from Radharani. She herself expands herself into her challenging form as Chandravali just to create that mood of competition in the spiritual world, and then there's further expansions like that, and then she appears as Lakshmi, and there are different forms of Lakshmi. So it's stated that, for instance, over here, the Lakshmi that's found with Karna the Sai Vishnu is stated in the Brahma Samhita as Rama Devi. So her name is Rama Devi.
You can make that chart.
And there's another chart. There's a complete other chart where and then she expands herself into Durga.
I want to see that chart.
And then Durga expands herself into the material world. So just like that, Radharani has her own separate set of expansions. So it's so amazing. And
It's a big chart. It's the big chart.
Yeah,
Everything is there.
everything.
something is there, in that one. Yeah,
You should
usually
get the
one.
big sword and just have it.
Yeah.
That'd be
We
nice.
should put it here.
How big is it?
It's
We
pretty
get-
big.
we get
It's
we
pretty
get
big.
the-
You
we get
have
the images
space.
printed out, bro. Even bigger.
It's pretty big. Anyway, it's good. It's good to get. We should get it. So anyway, questions on these. So there are different forms of Narayana and different Lakshmi, different moods.
For the disciple, the guru is also a Shakti Vesh avatar.
That's what Chaitanya Charitamrita says. Yadyapi amara guru Chaitanya das tadapi janire hami tanhara prakash. Prakash. The word prakash is used. Very, very, very significant word.
Prakash.
So it says that I understand. What is that verse? Someone
I
can
know
pull it
that
up.
I know that my guru is a devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I also know that he's not in different.
Sakshat
He's also an expansion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, it's an expansion. It's
Right.
stated like that.
Super Shakti Srimurti.
So it's like that. But then again, the principle, the characteristic is to be understood. What makes a guru as Chaitanya Prakash?
The Mayavadi just sees the Prakash, they don't see the whole picture.
No, they don't accept Prakash. They say Swayam.
Swayam, Krishna.
There's no Prakash in there. There's no. They have no conception of part of Amsha of Amsha of Amsha. They don't have that concept.
It's just undefined. Like,
Nothing is defined. Everything is Brahman.
very vague.
Brahman Satyam Jagat Mithya. That's all
It
finished.
means intelligence is low. Intelligence means you can have discrimination, but intelligence is
All right. Other questions?
So you're saying that the Shesha that's holding up the universe is a Jiva?
Mm-hmm.
So does Mahavishnu still lie down on the Jiva?
See, it's not Shesha who's holding up the universe is not lying on Mahavishnu. The Mahavishnu is not lying on that Shesha. That's a different Shesha.
So is it for the 14 planetary systems that the Sheshanag that's holding?
Mm-hmm.
For the 14 planetary
The
systems?
14 planetary systems are held by Ananta Shesh, who is on top of Kurma, who is floating in the ocean, who's floating in the Garbhodaka ocean.
And that's a Jiva.
The Kurma is not a Jiva.
No.
Yes. Kurma Dev is the Supreme Personality of God. And why is Acharya explained, why is Kurma floating, swimming in the Garbhodaka ocean and holding up all these material universes?
What about that?
Because he has a scratch on his back.
Because he has a scratch on his back, and this Ananta Shesh with all the 14 universes are just giving enough pressure to scratch, so he moves around like this. And it's stated that sometimes when there are 4 elephants, there are actually 8 elephants. 8 elephants with their wives.
Science.
Anyway, that's a different thing. They also have their expansions. Also, they also have this potency of holding up the universe. So sometimes they shake their heads out of some, it's a little, some little relief, and then there's earthquakes that happen and all that. So
basically, potentially someone attributed a book to could be that could get enough Sukriti and all that to become the Shesha who holds up the universe.
You should Jiva, the Jiva Tattva.
Jiva Tattva?
it's Jiva, yeah. So
Expansion of Ananta.
yeah,
I'm asking you a question.
yeah, it's possible, but the question is kind of
What? Someone.
Anyways,
someone can do it.
why? Well, the question you can say so. Any jiva can become Ananta Shesh, to bring. I'm distributing a book. It's kind of
No, not
hard.
me.
It's all right.
Anyone.
Anyways, all right. The point is that any jiva can become Ananta
Oh my
Shesh.
God, make Ananta.
Any jiva can become Ananta Shesh. That is the
You can also
point.
become a gopi or a gopa too.
They can become anything. Yes. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, Prabhu.
Question, it's a technical question. I guess maybe comment first.
Yeah.
I guess from my own experience, Prabhupada always says don't jump to the 10th canto. But from, coming from knowing nothing about Krishna, and reading progressively through the Bhagavatam and everything, and right, and reading in the CC Chaitanya Bhagavatam right now. But all of that reading progressively from the first canto to the 12th canto has helped me appreciate Lord Chaitanya's pastime.
Yeah.
I was reading it last night, and I was
Yeah.
thinking, if I had no knowledge of what Srila Prabhupada gave, I wouldn't be able to understand any of it.
Yeah.
And just last night there was a comment in the section when Lord Chaitanya is performing the kirtan with to the Qazi's house about how it's heard throughout the universe in the spiritual world, and how the residents of Vaikuntha, they want to come down because they hear that kirtan. But just without that preliminary knowledge of understanding who Krishna is and all these different guna avatars, manva avatars, and lila avatars, you really don't appreciate Lord Chaitanya or Krishna, because you don't understand. It just seems like, because they're not really doing anything so spectacular. Lord Chaitanya is so spectacular. He's not like fighting demons and shape shifting.
Right.
He's just kind of chanting and dancing.
Yeah.
That
She's shape shifting. He's shape shifting.
Yes.
In his ecstatic forms. Yeah.
It's not really so amazing. But when you have all that knowledge, and then you see what actually Lord Chaitanya is giving, and that the relationship, that reciprocation between the devotees, and you see that's actually the highest. Not that going beyond this on reverence.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot to learn. A lot to learn about.
There's a lot of miracles in Chaitanya. Do a little injustice to us. You will see. So many miracles in Chaitanya.
And he also manifests Mahaprakash Lila also.
Yeah.
Yeah, but people don't accept it because it's not found in the Vedic text. It's found in Chaitanya Charitamrita, which they say, hey, your Acharyas wrote that, yeah. But they don't understand. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is stated as appearing in the it's confirmed in the Vedic text. Again, it's purposefully hidden incarnation. People who are not attracted by the sweetness. It's not everyone is not meant to have access to the highest pastimes of Lord Krishna. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and says, yes, everyone can take it, but then those who are envious, they still try to avoid Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So he has to come up with ways to
be
avoiders.
Alright, there's no other questions, comments. I can end the class. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.